guys, it's Julie and I'm here with Ms. Maple, Lab Shepherd Mix, and we are about to do our first car session. All the dogs who come through our program learn a calm, relaxed downstay while they're riding in the car. For some dogs, this is really difficult because for their entire life, they've associated the car ride with being really amped up, really excited, moving all over the place, scratching at the windows, pacing all over the car. They just associate it with being over-adrenalized and over-aroused and over-excited. And that's something that we don't want because it's distracting to the driver, and you're going to struggle once you get to your destination because you've got a dog who is just partying for the whole ride. So we actually want the opposite. Okay, and that's why we take the downstay and we enforce it in the back seat. It keeps our dogs still, it keeps them calm, it's safest for the driver, and it keeps them in a good mindset for the whole trip. That way when you get to your destination, you are already ahead of the game. Now you can ask your dog to wait as you open the door until you release them, and you're gonna have a good outing wherever you are. So the first step is not having her rush into the car. Lots of dogs will see the car and bolt in. They've just forgotten all the obedience they've been practicing because they're so excited when they see the car. I don't want them to be excited in the car. You can get excited when we hit the hiking trail or wherever we're going if that's appropriate. So I'm gonna open the door. If she pops up out of her down, I'm just gonna tell her no. It's really the same as waiting for permission to exit a crate, waiting for permission to exit the front door. It's all permission-based training, and we're teaching her to look to her human before just making decisions on her own. Good girl. And so then, once I've got a nice calm mindset, I'm gonna say the word place, and I'm gonna point to where I want her to go. I'm gonna flip the camera around so you guys can see. Place. You can get in there. So she's gonna need some help getting in there, which is, it's mental because we know she's physically capable of getting in the car. Let's go. What I'm gonna do is back her up a little further. Place. Yeah, there you go. And then I'm gonna pretty immediately tell her to down. Down. Click. Down. Almost got another click. So I clicked one time at an 8 because when I told her down, she acted like she didn't hear me and she kept sniffing. I know she heard me, she just didn't want to do it. And so now we've got this downstay in the back of the car, door open. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the door, I'm gonna get in the car, and I'm just gonna continue to enforce the downstay. Even if that means she pops up, I'm gonna say no, I'm gonna click, and she'll go back down. And she'll learn in the car, I relax and lay down. Okay guys, so we're in the car, and as predicted, and like many dogs do, as soon as that door shut, she popped right back up. This just gives me an opportunity to get another rep in of nope, down, and then clicking if I need to. Your first car session with a dog who's used to doing whatever they want in the car might feel like a game of whack-a-mole, but it should go away with every car ride that you take. And all the dogs, by the end of the board and train, they get in the car, they lay down, they don't pop up until they're released, and they all get that pattern. They all get there. But sometimes the first session is a little rough because the dog's so used to acting on their impulses and being all over the place. Here we go. All right, guys, so we just parked at Sheetz, and she didn't pop up. She seems to have learned her lesson from the couple times that she tried to pop up as we were leaving our driveway. She's a very smart dog. And so it just goes to show that they're not gonna keep making the same mistake as long as somebody is there to tell them, wrong choice, try this. And so then what you get is a dog who's relaxed in the car. You don't have to worry on car rides. And then you get to use that door as leverage for a calm mind as you're getting them out of the car and having a better outing altogether. What I'm gonna do now is open up the back door and have her just watch the things happening around her as I pump gas, but still enforce the downstay. Just because the door's open doesn't mean you get to bolt out, especially because we're at a really busy place full of cars and people. So I just wanna make sure she knows an open door doesn't mean bolt out. Good girl, Maple. Good. Okay, so the first time I opened this door, she's on a tie back right here to the carabiner, so she can't get very far, but as soon as the door was open far enough for her to get out, She bolted out of this car so fast. I gave her a correction on the e-collar, and then I guided her back in, and then I repeated it by opening the door again, and I get a dog who's staying in the downstay. We cannot have a dog who's bolting out of open doors as soon as they're open, because we are in a busy parking lot, and I just never want her to think it's okay to see an open door and run out of it. She always has to look to her human for permission first. Okay, so we always are gonna repeat that until we get what we want, and then tell her, good girl. So now what I'm gonna do is keep the door open as I pump the gas, so she learns just because a door is open, it doesn't mean you're gonna be invited out. So this will squash any anticipatory anxiety. So we got cars going by, we got people walking by. I'm gonna close the door. Okay, so now we're gonna go to a new location, park the car, and re-practice opening up the door and see if she stops making the mistake of bolting out, because it's really important. Good girl. Because this is such a struggle for her, we're gonna practice it as much as we can today. And I'm never actually gonna let her out of the car. We're just gonna go to different places and open up the door, because she is so intent on bolting out of this car as soon as the door is opened that I need to repattern the behavior and the association to the car. Good girl. Time to go to a new place. Good. All right, guys, believe it or not, third time's a charm. First we went to Sheetz, and then we were at that parking lot over there, and then we drove over here, and my goal was to just keep driving into locations and opening up the car door and making sure she knows she's not supposed to bolt out. This was the first time she didn't bolt out the first time I opened the door. This is how we create a new pattern, is we correct the wrong choice, and then we keep going and we praise the right choice. And then we hang out here for a while, because part of the anticipation is always thinking she's gonna get out right away. And she can't do that, especially in a busy parking lot like this. There's people walking around, there's cars driving by. Somebody just parked that has a bunch of dogs, and I don't want a dog rushing out of the back of the car, loose all over the parking lot before I can even get a chance to close the door. So if I even wanna calm her down even more, I'm gonna go down to a really low number, a 5, and I'm just gonna click. And she puts her head down. That click at the 4, that has her relax. So we've hung out in the downstay in the back. We've had a dog walk by, we've had people walk by, we've had cars going by. I'm not actually gonna let her out because I want her to remember the task is to stay in your down until you're released. This is huge for a dog who came with no impulse control. So we're gonna end the session today, and then the next time, hopefully she'll remember this, and she won't break her down until I release her, and then we know we're ready to move on to the next step, which is an outing. All right, so we're back home. We're gonna open the door and see what she does. Hopefully she'll hold her downstay and not rush out of the car like she did on drop-off day. This goes back to her root problem of not thinking before she acts and not looking to people before the decision making. Good girl, Maple. Looks like she learned a thing or two about riding in cars and respecting thresholds. I'm gonna give her a little click here at a 4. See how that works? It breaks that anxiety cycle. Because the panting, although she might be warm, it is warmer out today, what I'm seeing from the panting is anxiety about getting out. So you can break that cycle by clicking at a low number and having her put her chin down. And it keeps her regulated. Just like that. And this is how we keep a healthy mind. We care about her mind and we want it to be healthy, and we don't want it to be frantic and chaotic and acting on every whim and every impulse. We want her thinking and relaxing and just chilling out. So I undid the safety, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to recall her to me from the car. So I'm going to say the word COME. I'm going to tap the tone. She should come to me, and I'm going to tell her to sit right here. Come. Good girl. Sit. Very nice. Down. Good girl. And this gives me an opportunity to go close the car, and then I'm going to heel her inside. Using that training at every opportunity. Let's see if I can get her a little more relaxed. Good. So she beat me to it. So what's going to happen is she's going to start self-regulating and realize the panting is always going to be corrected. And by clicking at that 4, I help her relax.